Greetings, friends. Welcome to the new program of the 2025 initiative. Listening together, sharing field notes, inquiring the way together. This program continues the work we started last year with the intergroup initiative, when every month we would meet for the new moon groups check-in. So in a way, this is unfoldment of our groups check-in. Before we start, I want to bring you attention to the function of translated captions that is available for you. So if your language is not English, so you can choose your language and would be able to follow the translations on your screen. This is the special year, as we all know. This is the year where all disciples are called to be individual in alignment with the hierarchy and Shambhala. And all this year, all esoteric groups, all meditating groups who familiar with the teachings of Master Joel Cult transmitted via Alice Bailey know about the significant event that is happening in this year, the hierarchical conclave, when the hierarchy meditates on the purpose known in Shambhala and envisioning the plan for the next 100 years. And every full moon, all our groups meet in our own circles, aligning with the hierarchy, listening together with the hierarchy, to the voice of silence. And at the time of the new moon, we invite us to meet in this circle, in this space, to share our recognitions, to share our field notes, and learn together how to become effective in our work. This concept, the idea of sharing the field notes and inquiring the way together, came in one of the conversations we had in one of many circles, and it was offered by Michael Lindfield. So I want to acknowledge his subjective presence today and this impulse that came from that conversation that inspired us to call us every new moon together in a circle to share our field notes and listen together to each other and to the hierarchy. Every meeting we will be offering for us a question to reflect. We'll speak a little bit later about how we together will be deciding on those questions. But today, as we start this new cycle, we offer us a question to reflect together. The era of the Forerunner is drawing to a close. We understand that ending are also beginnings. What might be a next indicated step for the World Servers Group? So we invite us now to take this question into the meditation. And Claire will take us into the meditation and she will tell us what to expect. Over to you, Claire.
We come together with gratitude for this time together. this time of listening and receptivity. We hold in our hearts and minds those landscapes and communities that are troubled with disruption and suffering at this time. Where two or more of us are gathered together, the Christ is with us. Be still and know the presence of the Holy Ones. Be still and know the presence. Be still and know. Be still. May the power of the one life pour through the group of all true servers. May the love of the one soul characterize the lives of all who seek to aid the great ones. May we fulfill our part in the one work through self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech.
So we are now opening the space for sharing. It's our first meeting, and so we will learn as we go what is the best format for us to hold our conversation. We invite us to, as we share and listen to each other, to hold the focus on the silence behind the words as our main source of inspiration and recognitions. Closely to following the natural flow of our conversation, closer to the end, we will have a time to offer our most resonant questions that we recognize at this time in our work, in our meditative work. And those questions will help us to plan our next meetings. Those questions will be in our focus as we progress through this year.
How big the eyes?
To start, just
Can you
Maria
hear me?
Cristina. Yes, Maria Cristina. Before we start, I'd like to share a quote as a starter for our conversation. This is from Dinah 2. You can follow it on the screen. The value to the ashram of a trained and functioning disciple lies in his ability to see with the ashram, to see with the ashram that activity which is required and the technique and mode of bringing about still another development within the eternal plan. To this must be added the disciple's understanding of the civilization and the culture of which he is a part, and a comprehension of the field in which his endeavor must lie. Being a functioning human being and a part of the great panorama of life, he can interpret to the ashram what he sees of extended evil, what he knows of humanity striving towards the good, and the revealing voice of the speechless masses. His suggestions as to the immediate mode of turning the hierarchical ideas into ordinary human ideals are of importance to the masters of his ashram. His value in this aspect of the hierarchical work is that he is not a master, that he is necessarily closely in touch with the daily life of ordinary human beings, and that the field of his activities is with personalities, whereas the masters and the senior initiates work with souls. When a disciple is a truly soul-infused personality, he can give to the masters most valuable assistance. So we're opening the flow now, and when you're ready to share, please unmute yourself. And today we're a little bit over 30 people, so maybe we could use the function of raising our hand just to establish some order of sharing. Maria Cristina, you wanted to share something?
Just a brief comment that this very gathering, I believe, is the next step ahead. Not just identifying as a group or even as, a few groups that we have, but the coming together of groups, endeavoring to meld not individuals into a group, but groups into a group. And I recall one line from Cosmic Fire that refers to this conjury of groups can then contribute to a center, a petal within the center of the planetary logos. I imagine the throat center, but perhaps the ajna, I don't know. Very brief, that's all for now.
Thank you, Maria Cristina. Mariana, please.
I hope I'm unmuted. So I'm a philosopher since many years. I study philosophy since 35 years now. I'm new on the group. I think I'm following the group since 2 years. And I have two observations for the possible aim of the group. One is that I see we are very polarized in a country, in a party, in a situation. People take sides very easily, very easily in a binary thinking, right or wrong. So I guess we should learn to multipolarize and to not be polarized in one side, but really to be careful, to learn with difference, and to go beyond binary thinking. This is very hard to do, to mediate conflicts and to not take sides and to multipolarize. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mariana.
Jeff, you're unmuted.
Thank you. This is my turn. Right. I just have two observations. As we are now going from Neptune is going into Aries, I feel we are moving into the era of the spiritual warrior, Aries being a warrior, and Neptune is a spiritual energy that will arrive tomorrow for, I believe, some 15 years or so. And to me, spiritual warrior feels right. It means speaking when we perhaps don't have to speak, having the courage to say things that other people are not saying, being prepared to challenge perhaps opinions that are extreme, and both politically and personally. And I feel that the astrology of this period is so much indicating new beginnings that it feels, I don't know how to embody that spiritual warrior, except that it has to be a movement of the heart and a movement of the Neptunian, which I think is the third eye. But I think that's all I want to say.
Estella, please. Or we cannot hear you. Maybe you can try to unplug your earphones. It's something.
Now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. I think that a key point it is in this time what Maria Cristina mentioned, that this meeting is a meeting of groups, not individuals. So I think that for face the new times, we have to keep united in keeping our difference, of course, but unity in diversity, I think it has to be the key point for this new time. And this kind of meeting is a way to share between different groups. Thank you for this initiative. Thank you.
I find it a cutting edge to identify as a spiritual warrior, which this little group here has done for many years, together with the need to balance the extremes or the middle way that was also mentioned. That's a very interesting, holding at that balancing point, which is in itself a pathway, perhaps leading to battle. And how is that defined? Because the Master DK does say, see to it that you battle. And the Agnya Yoga books are filled with wonderful quotes that inspire courage in battle and joy. And it's a cutting edge. That's all. I'll be quiet now.
The answer I received during the meditation seems to indicate that we are invited to look far, to use use to fly on the uplifting energies of the upcoming now the months of the three festivals, to look far, to get to that high point from which we can see where is this all going actually. Why what is it that is, why we are all doing this, what we are doing, where the world is going, all that far goal toward which we are all together navigating.
I would also like to address this idea of the spiritual warrior, because it's not a concept that I have ever really looked into or felt that sort of line of work. But just recently, like I'm our group, a healing group, we've got a conference coming up next weekend, and I'm preparing some a talk on telepathy, and what is coming up is about these arrows being able to pierce through the dross of the personality and to bring ideas through cleanly and clearly, and to be able to share. And also the idea of the finely honed sword that can cut through. Now, it surprised me that these ideas were coming through to me, and also and we're in Aries, so there were ideas of fire and cleansing fire, and I was looking at some readings out of the Revelation of St. John in the Bible, that one of my friends has put some wonderful pictures to, and these ideas started with hellfire, and I have rather resisted the idea of hellfire in the church. I don't find it very nurturing at all. But when I saw it just recently, I suddenly saw the necessity for the fire to burn the dross, that it's not a punishment or being put into hell, that it is the fire of spirit that we need to cleanse the separateness and the greed and selfishness, that this fire and this sort of warrior idea. And I was just interested that I've been having these thoughts, they've been coming in, and then we have this group today, and the same idea seems to be coming through. So I just thought I would share that. Thank you.
Same for me, this idea of the spiritual warrior. linked with the Neptune going to Aries. It's a new recognition, and thank you for bringing that. An image that came to me. It's an episode from an old movie, relatively old, that I really like and really love. It's The Messenger, story of Joan of Arc by Luc Besson. And there was a moment when Jeanne of Arc was together with generals of French army having a council, and the generals were very cautious and wanted one tactics of the battle, and Jeanne said like, no, that's how it will be. And they said like, Jeanne, but this is insane, this is that and that, and like, be reasonable. And she said like, no, I cannot be reasonable. I hear like the drums that I hear in my ears, they so loud, the voice of those drums, so I cannot go against them. And so that moment of voicing what we hear inside, that's for me, that's manifestation of that aspect of spiritual warrior. To hear that drums in the ears and be courageous to voice it, and not just voice it, probably the right word would be to express it and act on that. So that's that spiritual warrior. And yes, there is fire. The energy that is now coming there, it is energy of fire. It's the energy of Shambhala. And we don't know, but many groups that have recognition that there might be and will be the impulse, another Shambhalic impulse coming this year. And that is that fire that together we would need to withstand and hold and transmute and distribute.
Actually, the concept of spiritual warrior brings to mind a definition by one of Buddhist teachers whose name I cannot pronounce, so I apologize. I can find the name after. He says that a spiritual warrior is somebody who is daring to keep their heart open and let it be touched by the world.
It's a beautiful weaving of conversation and thought. So many thoughts come to mind. I have fourth ray. And And of course, there is, beauty and harmony through conflict. That also brings in the thought of battle, although from Japan, I recall her saying, beauty and harmony beyond conflict. And as spiritual warrior, number one, that fire, I think requires a lot of humility, as it indicates such added responsibility. That fire that does not burn. Leading perhaps, and this is those two extremes, back to those balancing between, to the absorption of the dweller. Perhaps somehow that thought also fits into the thought of all of this for me. To stand as spiritual warriors, and ultimately somehow perhaps I get very lost at that point, absorbing the a little lost. And very grateful for all of you.
Mariana, you unmuted, please.
Yes, yes. I'm very touched by all that I'm hearing. And I have a question. As a spiritual warrior, sometimes I wonder if my role, my duty is not fight to fight not. And in between several conflicts, I try to step back, observe, and not be drawn by the conflict, but to see this harmony and beauty beyond. So when people are battling, one is white and another is black, I try to see a gray zone beyond them. And the only way is to not to engage, not to take sides, but to try not to judge, but to try to understand what's going on between A and B, black and white, and in the battlefield. And if I had a drum in my head, it would be to fight, not to fight. Thank you.
I would just like to add that it's a relief to hear the questions and the uncertainties, which is to say, the process of being here at this time, with the many challenges and invitations that it presents to us. And when we were talking about the new shape for this new moon meeting, it was very much to hold space for uncertainties and inquiry in a way that's circular and exploratory. And yeah, just placing things in a circle where we can consider them together. So I'm very much appreciating the questions today. Thank you.
There was a comment from Joe, so I don't know if Joe, you would want to voice it at some point. If not, then we can read it in a bit.
Hi. The spiritual warrior that's being talked about, and your mention, Alexander, Joan of Arc, I mean, there's this heat and passion building up that's intense, and the beating of the drums, it rushes through the body, it's bursting in the heart and the head and the gut, and it has to out. I mean, this love and what has to be done has to out itself. And it's coming now. And it's by everything you're talking about and that we talk about all the time. It's love and balance. And we can do it. I mean, it can be done and it will be done. It's just hard to catch your breath with everything you're saying, because yes, have no fear. I mean, be courageous. Know it's there and you can do it. It's all love. You're filled with love, and it can all be done. And it will show itself how it will be done. Thanks.
I'm thinking about the fourth ray coming in this year, and the fourth ray is also a Scorpio. Warrior I am, and from the battle I am triumphant, and we kneel to lift all the things from the subplane and from the unconscious up in the light of the soul, in alchemy process where we cleanse all the subplanes and lift it up in a higher plane, higher and more approachable to the soul. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lynn, you're unmuted if you would like to share.
I awoke this morning with a strong visual. It was the brilliant sun. And from the bottom half of it, there were drops of water coming from the bottom, but they were filled with light. And I have felt lately an inexplicable joy. I know of so many problems that are happening, that are occurring for many people here in the States, and I think around the world, well, obviously around the world, but I'm just filled with an inexplicable joy. And I just thought I would share that. I apologize for being too joyful at times.
Definitely no need for apology. Yeah. When we talk about the transition into Aries of Neptune and the concept of the spiritual warrior, it's just one of the Aries has, I think, 4 keynotes in esoteric astrology. And one of them, if I remember correctly, is to enter into the battle for the Lord. And I wonder what is it? I'm sure there is an explanation in esoteric astrology. But within, it's just, to me, the note that I have is that it's not the battle with each other. It's not the battle in between, but it's the battle for. And if our Lord is, it's both, and it's love and it's fire. So there's this fiery love, which is will to love, right? That will come in abundance, and Neptune is shifting into that. In my understanding, is the energy that gives the group the opportunity to expand the group consciousness to the level where we can receive the new. I'm deeply interested in all what the groups are working with. So part of this check-in to me is what's coming, what new is coming, and what like somewhat different. It might be a smallest change, but in a the two vectors, like when they go apart in the beginning, it's just minuscule difference, but then as they project further, the difference between this and that will be really enormous. So I would like to understand and to see what we can do differently from what we were doing before. And we've been doing that for decades. And noticing what others are doing, it's, I think, absolutely one of the battles that we'll need to step in is our expanding our ability to accept, accept as oneness without losing our own stand, not migrating towards something, but really acknowledging that it exists. It's just almost like reality check, bringing together this very etheric spiritual realm and our very dense living, daily living, and constantly hold it as one, which is not easy. Not easy. And allowing others to see what they see, to be who they are, and allow ourselves as a group to develop, to move, just to move. I have no idea what is forward in that situation, but just to evolve and to allow this monadic point, monadic consciousness, to reach those parts of our group personality which are ready to receive that energy. Because in general, if it's not soul, it's my understanding, if it's not soul infused enough, then the matter of the personality cannot receive that. It's going to be burning, like that's going to be hell depicted, you know, it's going to be just burned away. But whatever is infused with the energy of the soul and has this capacity to withstand the fire. The image that I have is those old swords that are being burned, each layer to the point of microns staying. But whatever is staying, essentially and eventually creates this impeccable steel that is bonded together the best atoms that it has, the best. So the same thing, like the best qualities, the best, and then we can expand it. But first, I think we need to see who we are, like really, and what we can withstand for real, and how we can keep loving each other and the world and serve for real. Not in a fragment, but as a group. Thank you.
May I speak again?
You don't need to ask. You're already speaking, and then
I didn't know if you were having people raise their hands. Okay, I was just going to say quickly that I had two friends not long ago who became very angry with each other for a brief time, and they thought that the other person was the source of an evil projection towards them. And actually, towards the end of this, I realized something we all know: the evil wasn't coming from either one of them. The evil was coming from something beyond them that they were both trying to fight. And but they didn't realize it. They thought the other person was the source of that evil, but really the evil was probably coming in some way from the dark forces that we all are trying to overcome. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay, Alexander? Wonderful. It's a joy to be here today with you all. The deep impression that has been touching me lately is that we have been given a gift by the hierarchy. And we've been given words of power, mantras, and a great invocation. And when we study these sacred, ancient mantras that were given, 35 mantras were brought to the planet by the Lords of the Flame from Venus for use by the hierarchy. They were used to inaugurate planetary events and unlock the mysteries of the subplanes. and of the 5 planes of human evolution. They exist in Sansa and Sanskrit. And they are sounded forth by the solar logos, the heavenly man, the monad, and the ego, capital E. The wider the field contacted, the more powerful the mantram used. What I have observed within all of the groups is a changing of the words randomly, so that when I come to the group, to work with the group, to sound the mantram, there's many different now renditions that I wasn't aware of. And so it reminds me of the Tower of Babel. Rather than a unified rhythmic sounding of the mantrams in a song that is able to touch the very depth of that root chakra, the drum represents the fire of the will to be, which Aries represents. That cannot pierce anything above a certain level that is needed to evoke a response and pierce through the veils of those who are here to assist us or could assist us. And so I bring to the group to consider, because we can do it. We can do it, sounding and learning these mantrams that were just released to us very recently, as early as I believe 1930. To sound them as closely to that of the hierarchy, which is drawing nearer, then we won't have this opportunity for 100 years. To tune in, how do they sound it? I can't imagine, maybe they are all sounding it differently, but I don't think so. I am that, and that am I, were the words given to Moses when he asked, "Who shall I say sent me?" I am the glory, says the Christ. The we is a horizontal energy. We must maintain that vertical. I am. At its highest point is the monad coming through into the spiritual triad, which is the closest we can get, and we work with the Buddha plane. The I am is needed. The we is beautiful. It is a beautiful horizontal plane of many me's deciding to be unity. I am is needed. The mantras were given. The great invocation was given. And they are ancient. And who am I to say that I can change it? I am not the Lord of the flame. Perhaps if we use that which is given, because we missed the mark in World War II. That was our responsibility. Decay says that. May we make the mark now. And we have at our hands sacred, ancient mantras and the great invocation to make that happen. And if we do it in a unified sounding together, and every group can, however we arrive at it, but to sound it in a unified group. And if the groups want to continue to change and alter, then that is the free will to do so. All I ask is, would you put side by side the original so that it is never lost? since there is a great movement to erase history on this planet and change things, please put the original along with whatever deviation it wants to be used by the person presenting, so that we know the original form of that which has been given.
Oh, thank you, Darcy. I don't remember where, but DK says that when he says, when in the mantras, when the I is sound, it's those are the words of the soul. So to me, the same I goes for the group soul and the soul of the new group. So it's this I, which is oneness. Yep. So thank you.
There's a request that you read.
There's been several sharings in the chat, so I will go back to read all of them, just to be fair to all who shared on the chat. So this message from Joe. A teaching from Master DK seems important as we listen to the ideas shared. Every externalized idea is therefore possessed of form, animated by desire, and created by the power of the mind. The desire plane is the one upon which the mind imposes its conceptions in order to produce the idea incarnate, to clothe the idea in form. It is therefore the gestation ground. The mind previously has been the recipient of the archetypal idea, as grasped and visualized by the soul. In its turn, the soul is the recipient of the formula as presented to it in the world of ideas. You have thus the presented idea, the perceived idea, and the formulated idea, and the idea working out into manifestation. Another sharing from Vicky. Dear friends, I'm drawn to the study of DK's teachings. The seventh ray reveal of the age, particularly the clash between sixth and seventh ray energies. Page 191, the most active at this time and its resultant idealism and consequent new age concepts are playing upon the sensitive minds of the race and preparing humanity for a great and much needed change. The work of the ray of ceremonial order is to ground or make physically visible the results of bringing spirits and matter together. And sharing from Risa. Responding to what are we doing that is new as Neptune enter Aries, a new study, that of the etheric plane, the 4 sub-levels. What is this nebulous region that we may not understand? Love vivifies and vitalizes the etheric plane. There are 4 levels of divas here. The etheric body reflects the soul. It's our light body. Perhaps as Neptune enters Aries, we can begin to study this unknown field.
No, I can deeply resonate with that, what Teresa said, and with Vicky, of course. And I think that that's like how he says, TK says, raising the dead body of humanity. That's what is needed in order for us to not miss the mark, as well as sounding the note, but also having this living presence within us to actually move the energy beyond behind those mantrams and every energies that we work with as groups, forward. Livingness is the key. Yeah.
I just saw the message from Estella. She has had to go, but in the end, she says, she writes, I think we are open the path to the new race. And that might be because not to the six ray, but race, but to the 6 sub race. We are the 5th now, and the 6th. It could be that Neptune is the 6th ray is the ideal coming to announce that the 6th ray is 6 sub rays is starting to come. I think it's already beginning is somewhere in the United States and other places where there are a big mix of races, but it could be. It's a nice thing, is a thought, I think.
Alexander, with your permission, I would like to sound the mantra of fire. If the group will.
There should be the group's permission.
The group's permission, I would like to sound the mantra of fire. It will require us to be attendant to the fire. Okay. I seek the way, I yearn to know. Visions I see, and fleeting deep impressions. Behind the portal, on the other side, lies that which I call home. For the circle has been well nigh trod, and the end approaches the beginning. I seek the way. All ways my feet have trod. The way of fire calls me with fierce appeal. Not in me seeks the way of peace. Not in me yearns for earth. Let the fire rage, the flames devour. Let all the dross be burnt, and let me enter through that gate and tread the way of fire.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darcy. It's a powerful call, an expression of that spiritual warrior stand, the quality of the spiritual warrior. I'm somewhat torn about to continue our conversation and recognizing the time is now coming to close. So probably it's a good invitation for us to hold this tension, to be individual, to be in the stand of the spiritual warrior. So I suggest we wrap up this sharing now, and to do that, I invite us to have synthesizing, to invoke the energy of synthesis and to go around the circle, those who wants to voice the questions and the most important recognitions of today's conversation. Just one word, one phrase, or one sentence. And that will help us to prepare us for the work ahead. So maybe we hold another moment of silence, invoking the energy of synthesis. And let us now sound those notes of synthesis.
As we stand together as silent watchers in this space, the field of listening for the essence of what is shared, I will carry forward to the next time that we meet the theme of fire and humanity as the disciple, the warrior that we are all endeavoring to assist in these very challenging times as we manage the process from the fifth root race, fifth sub race into the beginning of the emergence of the fifth root race, sixth sub race. The intuitive plane ever more important. And also endeavor every meeting, every meditation to invoke all the groups, endeavoring to follow this path together in support of soul consciousness developing in humanity. Gratitude for the opportunity.
Each and every one of us has a unique role to play within the group.
I don't know if you hear me. I was thinking in a character from yoga, the peaceful warrior. So he's a warrior, but he's a peace in the battle. And also the dancing warrior. So there are two asanas in yoga. It's very strange because we are in a yoga is union and to be in whole with ourselves. And there is this image that is the dancing warrior or the peaceful warrior that I would like to share with the group. Thank you.
Together we come. I will to love. I will to good.
As we stand at the beginning, let us always hold the space where we can observe from a perfect point of view and with divine understanding, being the harmless disciple that we are meant to be.
I had the image of Prometheus when we were reflecting the idea that Prometheus brought fire to humanity, the fire of consciousness, and that we're moving into the age of Aquarius, who is a Promethean age, and the values of Prometheus, it seems to me, are the values that we must encourage in the age to come in the next few years.
I would like to speak to the spiritual fire. The mantra of fire was relatively new to me. And interestingly, the Tree of Light group have been using that mantra. And then Darcy sounded it today. And I had chosen that to close our conference next weekend. And just before this meeting, I had typed out the mantra of fire to complete our meditation next weekend. So I would just like to acknowledge the synthesis that does occur between groups and between us, and to thank everybody here today. Thank you.
I would like to share a short verse that came to mind during this meeting today. In days gone by, people carried fire nests from hearth to hearth, a spark wrapped in grass, some slow-burning material, ignited by air, gentle breath, lungs, the alchemist's bellows, Today we have matches and lighters. We forget the magic, the tenderness of embers passing from person to person and place to place. Thank you.
As Neptune and Aries harmonizes with Pluto and Aquarius, and with Neptune and Pluto both being planetary rulers of Pisces, a hidden strength. I'm leaving this circle looking forward to our hidden strength, or to that nebulous region that Risa referred to, that love vitalizes, vivifies, as if together all world servers are as if a phoenix together were a phoenix rising from the ashes. Thank you. Love to all.
Good to hear your voice, Sharon. For me, through our conversation, the image of Arjuna came, and the words that Krishna told him when he was doubting on the right action. We have to do what we have to do with all the love that's available to us. Bringing that fire of will with love that can be expressed as light. Because at the end of the day, the fire that Prometheus brought to humanity had to become light.
And that brings to mind the, I don't know where it is written, but the Tibetan says, love is the source, love is the goal, and love is the method of attainment.
And isn't our biggest battle to live every day as a soul?
And as we travel as the path of the warrior, for us to be able to see things that need to come to an end, being able to pay attention to our karmic debt acquired on the path of evolution, and being able to address it, transmute it, and move forward. And recognizing that there is a greater purpose beyond the events that we observe, which we might not see, but with love and respect for the spiritual need of all, we move forward.
move forward. So we continue holding our togetherness and do our work, holding our spiritual vigil this year. It's the first time ever in history that the new group of world service stands together on the periphery of the hierarchy, as the hierarchy meditates on the plan for the next 100 years. So there's definitely a role for us to play, a function that we should together recognize what it is about. So we bring to the end our meeting today, and continuing the tradition that we started last year, we close our work with the ritual that Daniela will take us through. So I will highlight you, Daniela, for everyone that we could follow you.
So, like always, we will end with voicing together the last sentence of the Great Invocation by scooping the light and love and power, bringing it to the plane of the earth, and then offering it to humanity. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. Oh.
And Claire, can you please bring the last slide on the screen?
Radiance we are, and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus, with the love, with the light we work, and turn the darkness into day.
Thank you, friends, for your company and companionship and presence today. And as always, we will go out with a music track and stay a little while as we wish each other well in our ways. Thank you.
across the bridge where angels dwell, across the bridge where angels, across the bridge where angels dwell, children play. Beyond the place where time is still, beyond the place where time is, beyond the place where time is still, night is day. Close your eyes.